The Power of Past Incarnations, Detailed Summary. So the essence of this teaching, Zealand is asserting that every person carries the accumulated potential of the past incarnations. The hidden power is not mystical in the vague sense. It's a real, present, and accessible through the braid of intention. By waking up and holding presence, you could draw on this reservoir of strength. So this is going to be a bit of a paradox. You have unlimited power that you can access, but there's also certain areas that are a little bit more than others. Kind of like in Animal Farm. All animals are created equal. Some animals are more equal than others. So these are the skill sets that are going to resonate more with you. Ordinary state. In daily life, people forget their depth. They're identified with the reflection. They believe themselves, so you forget what you are. Ordinarily, we're hypnotized into believing we're small and powerless. Small, limited character. The herd encourages this through the pendulums, teaching us to seek safety and security by surrendering what we are, getting a job we hate so we get a steady paycheck, blah, 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 blah. When you think about the million ways we sell ourselves short because we're told this will keep you safe, this will keep you secure, we forget who and what we are, and we no longer serve ourselves. We no longer serve those around us. We no longer serve our creator. We no longer act as our creator. Instead, we get blown around by the wind and we're serving, for lack of a better word, forces that may not be in our best interests. The hidden deposit. Within you exists a store of knowledge, intuition, and capability gathered over lifetimes. This is why you sometimes know things you've never studied, feel resonance with a certain practice, or have déjà vu. These are glimpses of the accumulated braid of past experience. So how power is blocked? Living unconsciously without presence, feeding the pension. So if you're like in a dream state, walking around like an NPC, you're not living, you're dead, you're a zombie. You can come back to life, but you're dead. So feeding pendulums with attention. Oh my God, I care so much about politics. It really matters. They care about me. You're burning yourself. Or identifying exclusively with the present character. So ignoring the deeper self. So this character accumulated over this lifetime by programming. And there's parts of me that are authentic and there's parts of me that I'm still working on. I can't identify too strongly with this. Almost every high-level coaching or awakening is going to have a place of consciousness where we're in the witness state. That's a pretty high level of consciousness. When you're there, then you're closer to who you truly are. So how are you going to access this? You're going to enter presence by turning attention inward and holding that sense of self as attention. You're going to touch the braid or plate. Now I'm going to steal from some of Zealand's other books. He also talks about this point like there, above and behind the head. Yeah, right there, I can feel it. That is the point of spirit. The other one is, I don't know, point of attention, something like that. So you have the plate that's between the shoulder blades, and you also have this up there. It may be different for different people. Don't sweat it. Find what's comfortable and resonant for you. And then you're going to declare your connections. You say it silently, I connect with the strength of all my incarnations. So now you're connecting with that lineage. You're being present. You're going to hold it calmly without force. You're just going to be present, letting it run through you. That's going to open, and then sudden clarity may happen. Look at the effects that happen. Unexpected solutions, strength in difficult situations are all signaling. And this is all connecting with the unknown, with the mystery, with what actually controls what we would call physical reality. This is coming into the lucidity of the dream. So the practical signs when you're accessing this, the power of the incarnations are going to appear as. So this is how you know you're plugged in, right? Calm confidence without obvious cause, like you just know it's right. The sense that I already know what to do. Or an inner stamina that allows endurance or creativity beyond your normal personal limits. Why this matters? Because without this connection, you're only going to act as the surface personality, as the character, as the conditioning. That's a weak and dependent character. When you step into the role of author, the creator, you're carrying the full backing of the lineage of experience. The force is now coming from behind you, pushing forward. Zealand cautions not to turn this into fantasy or ego inflation. Do not get confused. Do not become arrogant. The point is not to dramatize these past lives. It's to quietly accept the heritage as real and usable power. The result is that the awareness of the braid and consistency in practice gradually dissolve the illusion of limitation. So you stop begging reality for strength and realize you already carry a treasury within you. You're not out there like a beggar. There's so many parables given. The beggar is begging and begging and begging, finally realizes he has a solid gold bowl. The distilled will of countless incarnations. Again, you come into this life, oddly enough, carrying the stain, as we might call it, of original sin, of flaw, whatever it is, but beneath that is that perfection, that even that limitation shines through as a representation of your perfection. So the event, detailed summary. A central idea. An event is not simply what happens to you in the film, it's the point where your attention fuses with a frame, giving it life and solidity. What you call reality is in fact a portion of the film into which your attention has entered. The herd's error. Ordinary people believe that events are external, random, and opposed by the outside. They react to them passively, as if helpless. I am telling you, use this word, dive into it, understand it, look it up. Victim story. They are being a victim. Why is this happening to me? Why does this happen to me? They don't take ownership of the reality at all. Reality just happens to them and beats them down. The truth is, an event is born only when your attention locks into it. Without attention, the frame is empty. It's like a still in a reel that has not yet been lit by the projector. How events form. A scenario exists in the space of variations. Your braid of intention touches it with awareness. The frame ignites, becoming your lived experience. The key principle is, attention is the ignition. No ignition, no event. That's why withdrawing attention from destructive forms robs them of power. They cease to materialize. The practical recognition. When something presses on you emotionally, fear, irritation, conflict, etc., recognize this is an event forming. You're being triggered. You're falling into a snowball. Ask immediately, am I creating this, or is the film pulling me unconsciously? Am I being dragged around by the nose? And then if you're being pulled around, you're going to withdraw the energy, you're going to reset the braid, and you're going to project your chosen frame. The event management practice. Number 1, notice the start of an event, that tug of your attention. Number 2, pause and awaken. This is only a frame. Decide deliberately, will you step into the frame or shift into another? You will declare your chosen scenario, holding presence. You're going to reset the braid to reinforce the shift. Events and long-term scenarios. An individual event is like a doorway. So you're going to step into enough doorways of the same type and you're going to walk into an entire storyline. This small unconscious choice accumulates and builds into fate. So you're going to manage your individual events. You're going to redirect the storyline. The illusion of inevitability. What people call destiny is only the inertia of repeatedly entering the same frames without awareness. Every event feels compulsory because they don't know that they're the ones making it. They're projecting it. The result of mastery. When you stop letting the film drag you into events and instead set them up yourself, life ceases to feel random. Instead, you experience coherence. You're in sync, in harmony. And your chosen scenarios are going to assemble into a consistent film that aligns with your will. Zealand emphasizes that events are not accidents, they are reflections. By training yourself to wake up at the onset of an event, again, bringing yourself into awareness, you reclaim authorship of the film. This is the essence of event management. And now we'll get to harassment. That's the constant pressure reality exerts when you're asleep in the film. Pendulums and external circumstances harass you with problems, demands, irritations, and fears. It's not objective fate. It's the mirror reflecting your unconscious projections. Mechanism. When you're asleep, you respond automatically like an NPC or a robot or an automaton or whatever great words we have. So you're going to respond like a clown to these negative events. You're going to run your script. Every reaction, fear, anger, complaint, is going to strengthen that destructive form. You're giving it energy by acting that way. You're going to act the fool. And so what do you get back? The mirror then produces more of the same, creating the feeling of endless harassment. The vicious loop. External pressure appears. You react emotionally, feeding that form. And then the reaction sets the next frame. You're literally, it's a feedback loop that you're making worse because you keep playing it. And so the harassment escalates, and without awareness, you're trapped in the loop. And I'm going to say something Zealand doesn't say. I believe that the reason for this and the escalation is reality is repeatedly trying to wake us up by doing this. It's actually a kindness, but it doesn't feel like it at the time. So here's how you're going to break it. Presence. The moment the harassment presses, stop and notice. I am in the film. This is a reflection, not a cause. Withdraw. You're going to refuse to argue or resist that frame. Resistance only makes it stronger. The resistance is the pain. And you're going to shift. You're going to reset the braid and declare your chosen film calmly, without strain. And I'm going to tell you this again and again and again. Practice the braid when you're not in the situations. So that way when you are, you're able to produce it. Like anything else, practice before it becomes prime time. And then you're going to reset that braid, and then consistency. You repeat that every time steadily. The old form weakens through lack of attention. The illusions of reality. Harassment feels especially convincing because it comes from many directions at once. Finances, relationships, work, health. The herd concludes this is just life. In truth, it's a single mechanism. Attention caught in the wrong film. Zealand's instruction is to treat harassment as the best marker. Every time something goes wrong, use that as a signal to wake up. Instead of feeding the problem, recognize it as the mirror's echo. So he does say it here. It's trying to wake us up. Practical stance. Say inwardly, I will not give away my presence to this harassment. Every refusal is a cut in the feedback loop. The result is over time the persecution dissolves. Life no longer feels like a barrage of problems, but a neutral field waiting for you to project into it. The absence of harassment is not emptiness. It's the space in which you're going to choose the film that can finally unfold. The conclusion is harassment is the reflection of the unconscious. Presence, waking up, being aware, turns harassment into a marker and a source of power. By refusing to give attention away, you stop being hounded by the film and you begin to direct it and create it. The conductor of power. Detailed summary. The meaning of the term the conductor of power is the channel through which life energy flows when you are in presence. In the ordinary state, this channel is blocked and energy leaks into pendulums by your attention. When you awaken, you reclaim this current and it fuels both the braid of intention and the materialization of the chosen frame. Where it's felt. This conductor runs through the spine and the energetic centers, but is mostly directly accessed by attention at the braid behind the shoulder blade. And I'm sure if he updated it, it would be point of spirit, top of the head. 45 degrees. Boop. When attention touches that point, the flow strengthens. A sense of fullness, calm, power, or inner radiance arises. Why it's usually blocked? Because of continuous distraction or out of dependence. The emotional drain of fear, irritation, guilt, and justification are eating up your energy. Or you identify with the character instead of the projector. So how do you open it? You enter presence. Wow, seems to be a recurring theme. Remember who you are and feel the attention returning inward. Place your awareness lightly on the braid. Breathe calmly and allow the current to be felt as warmth, vibration, or subtle expansion, and declare power flows through me. Please don't strain or seek strong sensations. The conductor responds to strong consistency, not force. This is only intent, there is no force. The signs of activation. A grounded sense of clarity and inevitability. A calm confidence as though events bend easily. A reduction of inner noise and the pendulum hooks fail to catch. Or physical vitality or lightness in the body. And the relationship to events. The conductor is what carries intention into reality. Without power, declarations remain empty words. With the conductor open, every thought form is fed and the mirror cannot resist. Zealand emphasizes that power is not acquired from the outside, it is conducted. This is a resonance. This is coherence. You do not fight it, beg for it, or store it. You simply cease giving it away, and the current resumes its natural flow. The outcome. As you learn to hold the conductor open, your life ceases to feel like resistance and effort. You cease to be blown around by the wind. Events align smoothly, obstacles dissolve, and you experience a natural authority over reality. not domination, but authorship. False awakening, detailed summary. This is a good one. A false awakening occurs when you believe you are awake, but actually still inside the dream. This happens both in night dreams and in waking life. You may think you're conscious, yet you continue to act from the script, mistaking thought and reaction for awareness. The night example. In a dream, you wake up, you get out of bed, you start acting, only to realize later you're still dreaming. The same mechanism operates in daily life. You read about presence, you nod in agreement, you even repeat affirmations, but in reality, you're still moving unconsciously, carried by the film You Are a Zombie. So how are you going to recognize it? You're engaged in inner dialogue. You're planning, you're worrying, you're imagining while believing that you are in control. That is delusion. You speak about being awake but cannot remember the last moment you caught yourself. Or you feel convinced of awareness without the freshness of presence. So why is this happening? The mind is imitating awakening by grasping concepts. Ego inflates itself with knowledge, mistaking mental chatter for true lucidity. Pendulums love this because it keeps you asleep, but you think you're free at the same time. So the danger is false awakening is so much more dangerous than simple sleep because it creates complacency. You think you're there, but you're so far from there. You're farther from there than the guy who knows he's sleeping. So the film owns you. Do not rely on belief or theory. When you rely on catching yourself in the act of sleep, ask repeatedly, where is my attention right now? Am I here? If the attention is lost in thought or on external drama, you're not present. Reset immediately. Return attention to yourself. Touch the braid. Declare, I am awake. Zealand's instruction, treat every sense of certainty with suspicion. Awakening is not a conviction. It's a living act. Only when you continually return to presence can you be sure you're not caught in false awakening. I've had so many amazing stories where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so there right now. I feel so stable. As soon as I utter those, reality has this wonderful way of letting me know where I still have work to do. It's really cute. Result, by recognizing the trap, you avoid self-deception. You remain humble before the discipline of waking up again and again. The humility keeps the path clean, preventing the stagnation that comes from thinking you are already free. You are the living light. Detailed summary. Central image. Zealand is describing the awakened person not as a puppet in the film, but as living light, the luminous source that animates reality. The reflection in the mirror is not the true self. The true self is the light that shines onto the film and gives it life. Ordinary sleep. In unconsciousness, you identify only with the character on the screen. You believe you are the image, bound, small, dependent on external events. In truth, the image cannot move without the projector. So the awakening stance is when you're holding presence, you step back from the reflection and remember, I am the source of light. The film exists only because I project it. You're taking ownership. The mirror reflects me. It does not define me. Practical realization. In any situation, pause and inwardly declare, I am the light that shines. Feel attention returning to the braid, the channel through which a light enters the film. And you're going to hold calmly the sensation that events unfold because you are projecting, not because they impose on you. The effect of remembering. Harassment loses power. The mirror cannot intimidate its own source. Fear dissolves. Light is untouchable. Only the reflection can be harmed. Confidence grows naturally. You are not dependent on the herd because the film is yours. Zealand warns not to mistake this for arrogance or personal superiority. Light does not argue or prove, it simply shines. To identify with the light is not to elevate the character, but to transcend the illusion of being only the character. Also, light shines regardless of how someone's going to respond. It's like, oh, I'm not going to say that because someone might judge me. No, you're going to be who you are. And what that person chooses to carry, if you're in your authenticity, is their burden, not yours. Marker. Every time you feel diminished, dependent, or trapped, use it as a signal. You have forgotten the light. You forgot your true nature. Return immediately with the phrase, I am the living light. Result. With repetition, this stance becomes natural. The braid is constantly nourished by the current, and your projection grows steadily. Life begins to align not by effort, but by radiance, the silent authority of light shaping the film. Pulling yourself out of the mire, detailed summary. The mire. Zealand uses the image to describe the state of heaviness, helplessness, and entrapment that overtake a person when they are fully absorbed in the film. The mire appears as worry, depression, fatigue, or despair, the sense that life has me by the throat. How it's going to form. You identify completely with this reflection. You're forgetting that you control the projector. The pendulums exploit this by feeding fear, guilt, and self-pity. Every emotional reaction drags you deeper, reinforcing the form. And the more you struggle inside the mire, the stronger it grips you. The false method. Most people try to escape by fighting, but by arguing with circumstances and you're justifying yourself and you're forcing the world to change and all this other stuff, you're actually weakening yourself and strengthening the outside world. So this is like flailing in quicksand. You go deeper, faster. Oh my gosh, like he says, like thrashing in quicksand. The real method is wake up. Remember, this is only the film. I am projecting it. Withdraw your attention. Stop feeling the images of despair, however convincing they may be. And then shift the braid. Place the awareness behind the back, touching the current of power. Again, it could be point of spirit as well. Declare, quietly state, I am not the mire. I set reality now. And then redirect. Move your attention deliberately to a chosen frame. Even something small like calmness or one constructive thought. Now, waking up also. I see myself and I see reality. That's from Tufte. Great to know that one. Why it's going to work. The mire is not real. It exists only while fed. By withdrawing your attention, you drain it. By redirecting, you light a different frame, and the mirror must adjust. This is science. These are rules. This is not like, oh, some woo-woo idea. This is rules. Practical cues. The feeling of heaviness or futility, that's a marker to wake up. The habit of saying nothing works, that's a clear sign you are deeply in the mire. Every recognition is a chance to pull out immediately. Liberation does not come from defeating the mire, but from refusing to identify with it. The character may appear stuck, but the projector is always free. The result is, with practice, even deep moods lose their grip. The instant you wake up and reset the braid, the mire dissolves like a fog in sunlight. Life no longer feels like a swamp, but like a pliable film you can walk through with light steps. The Evil Serpent. Detailed summary. The evil serpent is Zealand's image for the force that keeps you asleep in the film. It's not a literal being, but a sum of the pendulums, illusion, and inner inertia that bind you to unconsciousness. The serpent's goal is simple, to consume your attention, because attention is energy. It's life. It's God. How it works. The serpent whispers thoughts of fear, doubt, irritation, dependence, false belief, etc. It convinces you that the reflection is real and primary, and then it feeds your reactions, growing stronger every time that you identify and react and focus on its stuff. It feels powerful because the serpent uses your own mind and emotions as its tools. Kind of like in a dream, being chased by a purple elephant on roller skates. Because it's my own mind projecting it, I'm like, oh, that seems real as could be, and I'm running for my life. I am in delusion at that point. But it's my own mind fooling itself. So you mistake its voice for your own thinking. It's a parasite. By merging with it, you're unconsciously obeying it. Zealand's clarification. The serpent is not to be hated or fought. Fighting is still feeding. You're giving energy through struggle. The serpent thrives on your attempt to resist. Practical strategy, repetition. Every time you notice the fear, doubt, false belief, compulsion, etc., name it. This is the serpent. Do not argue or wrestle. Step back into presence and observe. So the detachment key. Reset the braid, declaring your own scenario, and withdraw your attention. The serpent goes away if you're not feeding it. The key marker. When you feel pressed upon as if something is imposing, restricting, or forcing you, this is the serpent at work. Use that as a cue to wake up. The deeper truth is the serpent cannot act on its own. It only survives by hijacking your attention. The moment you withdraw, it starves. Again, it is a parasite feeding on your attention. Zealand's emphasis, do not dramatize a serpent. Do not demonize it. Set it up as the mechanism of sleep. Its role is to remind you to wake up. It is serving you. The role of mastery. When you stop feeding the serpent, it loses authority. Life no longer feels hostile or heavy. The serpent remains as a marker, but you stand outside of its reach. It has no power. You are awake, you are present, you are directing the film. Conclusion. The serpent symbolizes the totality of unconsciousness. Its defeat is not a battle, but an awakening. The serpent is the strongest in the dark of sleep. In the light of presence, it disappears. Summary. Gaining strength, detailed. Core trajectory. The first part of Priestess ITfUT is dedicated to helping the reader wake up from the heard film and reclaim inner power. Every chapter shows how unconscious dependence drains energy and how presence, held through the braid of intention, restores authorship of reality. Manifesto of Will. Awakening begins with the declaration, I live consciously. I set reality. Or as Tufte says, I see myself and I see reality. Will is not force, but the calm determination to hold the chosen film. Liberation. Freedom means withdrawing attention from the pendulums. By refusing to feed external programs, you reclaim energy for your own film. Dream reader and tracking markers. These are signals that remind you to wake up. Dream markers, strange events. Reader markers, phrases in the book that pull you back to presence. It's like the book is speaking directly to your heart. Tracking markers. Recurring loops and patterns in daily life. Together they form a set of reminders to catch you before you fully slip into sleep. How we caught ourselves. This act of noticing I was asleep and now I wake up is itself the path. Repetition of catching oneself engraves the groove of lucidity. Do not give away the presence. Presence is the sole resource that pendulums seek. Every reaction, argument, or worry hands it away. Protect it freely. The power of past incarnations. Behind the present personality lies the strength of many lives. This reservoir can be accessed by presence and the braid, giving unexpected confidence and stamina. The event. Events are not imposed, they ignite when attention fuses with a frame. By catching this moment, you can redirect and manage reality. Harassment. That's the pressure of problems, and it's only the mirror echoing the unconsciousness, like our fears. Treat harassment as a marker to wake you up, and so you withdraw your energy from those. The conductor of power. When the presence is stable, your energy is going to flow naturally through you. This current fuels the braid and feeds your chosen forms. And the fueling of the braid is logarithmic. In other words, as you power up, it becomes powerful by geometric order. False awakening. The greatest trap is believing that you're awake when you're still dreaming. Awareness must be verified by constantly catching yourself in awareness, not just by concepts. You are the living light. The character is only the reflection of that. The true self is the luminous, infinite source projecting the film. Pulling yourself out of the mire. Depression, despair, and heaviness dissolve the moment you stop identifying with them and reset the braid. The evil serpent. That's the symbol of the unconsciousness. It feeds on your attention, not on truth. Do not fight it. That only makes it stronger. Simply wake up and withdraw the energy. When you realize that it is only a shadow, you have nothing to worry about. Final note on part 1. Gaining strength means reclaiming what you already possess. Will, attention, and presence. Once these are no longer handed away, the braid becomes active and the foundation for managing events is established.